Namaskar, friends. Who is a teacher? If you are teaching the children about Mahatma Gandhi, imbibe the values of Gandhi into your life, children would love you. If you are teaching Buddha to the children at school, try to imbibe the values of Buddha into your life. The children would love you. They do not need any textbooks to learn if you are imbibing the values which have been nourished through ages by our giant subcontinent. I will come back to it later. Let us talk about earthquakes. There is a data point article in the Hindu which talks a lot about earthquakes. In a span of 2 maps, it shows the intensity and the devastating effects of earthquakes which the world still remembers. If possible, try to make a paper cutting of the article which I would be discussing and keep it safely for future reference. It's a reminder how these earthquakes are affecting millions of lives and taking millions of lives. Then there is the talk about inflation. An editorial article is discussing about inflation. How far biofuels are a viability? Whether any damage to the nature occurs in creating biofuels to save the transportation exposure of pollution to the nature is what discussed. So, I have a bouquet of very crucial things for you, my dear friends, today. Let us begin. The data point discusses 2 points of discussion. It is titled The Deadliest and Strongest Earthquakes in Recorded History. What is this history? History has been divided into 2. Since the formation of the known facts about the world until now, how many earthquakes and the deadliest, which are also the strongest in recorded history. And another map is discussing about the last 200 years period of earthquakes. This is a paper cutting which you must protect and preserve for within your file, permanent file. The National Center for Environmental Information, which is a US government agency, is discussing about these earthquakes. Why this discussion? Because the recent earthquake which struck Morocco and killed over 2,900 people. In India too, we have the most deadliest earthquakes in history. The Bhuj earthquake, the Andaman earthquake of 1941, and the 1897 quake in Assam, measuring above 8 according to NCEI. In the Richter scale, it is measuring above 8. Map 1 depicts the Haiti earthquake, the most deadliest earthquake ever happened in 2010, which killed 3.1 6 lakhs people, and which is the country which is having recorded the most number of earthquakes? It is obviously China. In the last 200 years of history, 428 earthquakes have been recorded. And if you take since 2150 BCE, which is the last recorded history of earthquakes, China with 620 recorded earthquakes tops the list. So that is all about earthquakes, my dear friends. Friends, the floods are devastating. The floods in Pakistan claiming 1,700 lives and affecting 33 million people. 2013 floods in Uttarakhand, 2014 floods in the Kashmir Valley, 2015 floods in Chennai, and 2017 floods in Gujarat, and then Kerala, 2018 floods. There have been instances where Yamuna water level crossed the 208.5 meter mark, breaking a 45-year-old record. What is attributable to these floods is discussed in the article titled "Protecting Floodplains is the Need of the Hour." Why protecting floodplains is the need of the hour? Because it claims lives and affects millions of people. There have been verdicts, National Green Tribunal verdicts, that along the banks of rivers like Ganga, the illegal construction is banned. There is an Uttaranchal River Valley Development and Management Act 2005 to regulate mining and construction in the river valley. Recently in Kerala, the Marat Flats event. All these are examples how illegal construction is just gripping the river banks and or breaching. When the floods happen, the river banks are breaching the mark and creating havoc, and there it affects the millions of people. So we need green policies to escape from this. Protecting the ecosystem requires that the bodies of water are preserved at the best. Friends, Global Biofuels Alliance, which is an outcome of the G20 summit ended in New Delhi now, calls for lots of efforts to migrate to biofuels. Already there is a policy target in India achieving 20% ethanol blending with petrol by 2025 to 26. So, sugarcane will be tapped. There is talks about wastage of food grains. The crop wastes and residues will be taken to produce biofuel. Biofuel includes both sustainable and unsustainable fuels, mind you. Sustainable biofuel is ecological friendly, and unsustainable biofuel is very dangerous. There is every chance that in the short run to convert the internal combustion engines into biofuels and to reduce the emissions transportation wise, there may be a shift towards unsustainable means of tapping the biofuels, that is using the wastes to construct biofuels, which must be avoided. The title of the editorial, The Complex Path to Biofuel Sustainability, discusses this in several paragraphs. The Energy Transition Commission from petrol fuels to biofuels must be ensuring net zero emissions economy is what highlighted here. And mind you, unsustainable biofuels we don't need. A teacher, for him there is a day, September 5. Children, for them there is a day, November 14. Where is the bond between the teacher and children? Recent incident has shown that how mean a teacher could be with a student. In Muzaffarnagar in Uttar Pradesh, a teacher became very much mean. Now the question arises where these people are taught. The Right to Education Act, which requires the National Council for Teacher Education to be given a priority of ethics, is just seen an eyewash. Then there is D.P. Chattopadhyaya Committee Teacher Commission reports. Actually, B.Ed students are meant for secondary schools. If you want to teach children, become the icon they want. Another disappointment is that Justice J. Swarma Committee, the Supreme Court appointed committee in 2008, now no one remembers about it. That is the highlight of the article. An editorial titled Little Succor is discussing the food inflation price index, which is closer to 10%, is still remaining. The inflation is making the inflation hover around more than 6%. In August, it came down to 6.83% from July's 15-month high. However, the consumer price index data from the National Statistics Organization is still hovering above 6%. This editorial is discussing the 12 items, the groupings of items which are individually responsible for this inflation to rise and reduce. For example, tomato, the deflation of 5.8% in the 19-member basket is contributed by tomato. Then potatoes and onions. Sequential inflation, 7 items which are including potatoes and onions are continuously contributing to inflation, 2.3% and 12.3% respectively. This article is discussing the Kharif season which is going on now. As on September 8, is coming down to 8.6%. That is a shortfall. Crude oil, which the OPEC countries are controlling, is starting to bite. Crude basket climbed 7.2% from the average in August to a very high amount of $92.65 per barrel. However, to tame inflation, the government and the Reserve Bank of India must not bring such a policy where it would affect the growth. Often it is seen that the Reserve Bank of India's tinkering of the repo and reverse repo rates, what happens is that if it increases, the growth is affected because the businesses can no longer get loans at a cheaper rate, and they will be halting the manufacturing of the articles. The last but not the least, and probably the most deadliest discussion of a zoonotic spillover. Zoonotic means from animals to human beings. The fruit bats are responsible for this spread. What is that? Nipah. Come again. Unified approach is the title of the article. It has struck again. Even the lightning does not strike second time, but the Nipah has struck second time. 2018. It has a high death rate. 21 out of 23 people infected died. So this article is very scary in itself. It has come to scare and take caution. From the health minister's perspective, take caution. The contact listing has to be done and people must be isolated and steps taken